Hi, my name is Rymer, and I am an amateur photographer, constantly trying to get better and practice my trade, and car enthusiast, especially Jeeps. Love my Jeeps. So during quarantine, I have been mostly working on my car. I've been doing that a little bit more than photography, but quarantine has given me a lot of time to not be out on the trail as much, and especially with here in Arizona, it's getting pretty hot, and trying to take it easy on my Jeep until I know that she's good to go for the summers. But it's given me a lot of time to make sure she's well cleaned up and taken care of, and inspecting every last little hose and every little wire, and figuring out what I need to do to not just keep it running, but sort of bringing it back to life, improving the performance and what have you, the things you can do with the Jeep. So I've had a lot of time to get some of that stuff done, and that's been really reassuring to me to know that when I do get back out on the trail, it's going to go well and be even better than it has been in the past for me. And as far as photography, haven't been doing a lot of shooting during quarantine, but I have been taking some time and kind of reflecting over shoots that I've done in the past, and picking a few photos here and there to try to keep up on my editing skills, which isn't something that I felt particularly strong in before. So that's been nice to hone post-shoot editing during quarantine. Yeah, in the midst of quarantine, to try to stay positive and stay upbeat through this whole thing. Frankly, a great resource that most everybody's going to be aware of. I'd say get on Instagram and search through some hashtags. If you're into a specific Jeep XJ, throw up hashtag Jeep XJ and find groups of people that inspire you to build up your vehicle. Or the same thing with photographers, or traveling, or cooking, whatever it is. That's a really great way to get out there and find pages of all different sizes that can influence you and help you realize that even when you're stuck at home now, most of the time, that you can find that inspiration and study it and better yourself through it.
My name is Tegan Shapiro-Frost, and I am a baker and a digital artist. During quarantine, I have been baking and just trying new recipes that I've not really had the time before to try out. Also, when I'm not baking, I like to draw on my iPad. I started baking probably around when I was like 5 or so. My dad baked a lot, so I would just help him in the kitchen. I didn't really start baking by myself until I was a little bit older, like 10. My favorite part about baking is that you are creating something, and then you get a product at the end that you can share with people, that make other people happy, that you can feel proud of, and also eat. I have a really big sugar tooth, so that's probably my favorite part, eating it at the end. To all the people that are stuck in quarantine, that are bored and don't really know what they should do, I think that baking or drawing is like a great way to pass the time. It's really relaxing. Baking is methodical. You just read a recipe, follow the steps, and then you have something that you've created, while drawing is a little bit more free. I would just say find a video or a recipe, or ask someone what they would like to try and try making that.
My name is Gabriel Soto, and I'm a photographer slash filmmaker. One of the things that I've been up to during quarantine has been making sure that I'm booking photo shoots and just reaching out to local artists, models that I know, and also taking some time to sit down and write down ideas and kind of plan out my creative projects that I have, from a YouTube channel to photo shoots that I want to do, short films that I want to shoot with people, and all that kind of stuff. I think how I got started into photography and filmmaking really goes back a couple years back. And I had just moved to Philly. And, I grew up in Puerto Rico. When I was like 16, I moved to Philadelphia. I did not know any English, like, at all. So I started going out and I started getting into street art. And I started volunteering with a program called Philadelphia Mural Arts. And I got to meet some really cool artists. So I got to meet the guy that does Obey. We actually did a mural together. It was not just me, it was like, a lot of the volunteers from that program. And that was what got me into art. And so I started taking photos with my cell phone of the things that I would see, the paint and the murals and I guess from paying attention to the like drawing aspect of it and like the shadows and stuff kind of got me into photography to where like I wanted to get my pictures right. And I would take like a picture of a mural and be like, well, that shadow looks a little weird in there. And eventually I thought of buying a camera. That's really, if I take a step back to see like where did I start, like, because right now I'm like doing photo shoots for like models and like fashion and like all this kind of stuff, and I've done like magazine work and car racing stuff, and like I forget sometimes like how did I start, like, and it really started because I got into drawing and street art. I think my advice to people in quarantine right now would be to just get out there, and do something. There's not a lot of room to do stuff right now, but that shouldn't be an excuse. Like, you can still do things within your room. If you're a photographer, you can still edit, you can still shoot. Like, there's always something to shoot. If we find the little details and stuff, like I could show my bookshelf right now and get a cool shot and edit it, and that way you're creating content while you're still like social distancing and doing all that kind of stuff. So just don't let yourself like kind of like lay back during quarantine, and don't get frustrated because you might not have like certain things. Just do what you can with what you have, and just put yourself out there and get out of your comfort zone.
Hi, I'm Becca Woods, and I am the owner of Eerie Design, and I make little homemade decor for your house that's always a little creepy and eerie. During quarantine, what I've been doing is honestly just a lot of research, because I can't go into the stores that I would normally go into to get my supplies, and supplies are coming in online a lot slower, so I've just been researching new ways that I can express myself. I'm gonna start working with resin, which is something that I've never done before. And so I've honestly just been watching videos on how to do it, so that when it all arrives, I can just dive right in. I've always been into art, but I just didn't really know how to dive myself into it, because I could see what everybody else was doing, and I felt like none of what they were doing was something that I could do myself. Like, I'm super into tattoo artists and their designs, but I could never draw like that. I would try. It didn't express what I was trying to get across. And so then one day I was working and we were making candles where I work, and I just had this idea. We had used porcelain dolls to prank each other at work, and they started falling over and getting cracked. And so I just thought one day, like, while I was pouring a candle, like, wouldn't it be cool if I just put these pieces into this candle? Wouldn't that look neat? Right now, my favorite part is honestly just tearing apart the dolls. I enjoy like looking at it and knowing I need to figure out what parts are gonna be usable and that are gonna be the right size, and that I can get everything I need off of it so that it can be clean and look professional. That part is really fun for me just because it's challenging, and I only use an X-Acto knife, so I have to like work really hard to get it looking good. But my other favorite thing is just when it's finished, when I get to take a picture of it to post it, it's like it all came together all of a sudden, and you can see how much like your work going into it mattered. I think for me, what helped me want to dive in and keep going right now instead of just relaxing and not getting much done is that this is my time to actually be able to work on these projects and feel like nobody else is going to see them if I don't want them to. So if I fail at it, I don't need to tell anybody that I worked on it or that I tried to do it. So it kind of just gives you that confidence to just do it